Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Software Engineer K here, and today we've got quite a lot of stuff to go through. We had the Superman drop, and I did a video yesterday on my price prediction for Superman in terms of his valuation. So I just wanted to revisit that as well. We had the AMA yesterday, so I just wanted to go through a couple of key takeaways with you guys, alongside some interesting features that I've noticed in the Superman, as well as a few other people have pointed out as well. And we do have the upcoming Slimer drop, so I just wanted to go through that as well. The Medium article for that has been updated, even though I don't think it was kind of publicized. I just spoke to Reese yesterday about that, so I have shared it with people, but I will go through that with you guys as well today. And just a quick catch up on the price, because we have seen a couple of interesting confirmations. So firstly, we had the Ecomi and Immutable AMA. So we had Robbie from Immutable, we had Dan Crovers and Reese from Ecomi, who kind of helped moderate it and also answer questions. So in terms of kind of the main things that were discussed, so there was, the timeline of how long it typically takes for a project on a different chain to move over to Immutable. So from the tech aspect, it actually is not very difficult. It doesn't take very long. They just need to essentially fork the chain, and then from there they go through whatever processes that they need to go through. So that's good. It shouldn't take too long, but that's once they get started with it. But at the same time, there may be some uncertainty. So again, even though it was Robbie that did say that, I do take these kind of things with a pinch of salt, because I've met a lot of quite senior developers that tend to overlook some small things that do slow things down. We did also discuss, some of the features that could be implemented with Immutable. So because of Immutable, we have things like batch processing of transactions. So you can have multiple NFTs in one transaction sent over. So that allows you to trade, like two Batmans for a Superman, for example, as well as association between NFTs. So you could have an accessory bound to your NFT, for example, a signature bound to your NFT. All of these features, they start to become, real. So all of this stuff is made possible with Immutable X. So I think that is going to be really, really exciting to see. We did also discuss a little bit on kind of their competitors. So I think that's going to be pretty awesome. And we have to remember that VeVe, it is an app that's kind of designed for the public. If you have someone who's never used crypto before, and you try and get to buy something off OpenSea, it is a nightmare. So I think where we're going now is kind of towards the stages of just bringing in new users through all of this content and IP. So in terms of further kind of technical questions, there is someone else who I've been advised would be kind of like best suited to answer. But in terms of kind of more Ecomi specific stuff, we were told that there weren't going to be any, or most likely not any, tokens left behind. So all of tokens with that circulating supply is going to move over to the new chain. And that is more to do with kind of the technical issue with, moving tokens over. So I think that's perfectly fine, because if they were going to leave tokens behind, it would have had to have come from the reserve wallet. And we know the reserve wallet is never going to enter circulation anyway. So it would have been more of like a psychological factor. We've left some reserve tokens behind. It's just, something that makes kind of boost morale for people. And as a result, they may be tempted to buy more OMI. But in the long term, we don't need to depend on this kind of stuff. Off the merits of the team and everything they're doing, like, there will be adoption. It's just once that stuff does start to roll in. So I did have a look at the Immutable X GitHub beforehand, so I was able to ask some questions on this. Do have a look at this, because they do kind of explain how the API works as well. And the person to kind of ask for answers to these very technical questions, I've been advised, is Michael Duffy. He is the CTO of Ecomi, but he's very, very difficult to kind of get hold of. His LinkedIn is fully privatized. I don't know if we will ever get kind of a AMA sort of thing with him, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so a lot of the time when there are very, very technical questions, like whether the NFTs, like where the actual assets are locked up, he's the person who would know that. The other team, rest of the team, is something that's kind of a bit out of their scope. Now, with regards to Superman, so I made a prediction yesterday that when it drops, it's going to be reselling on the secondary market for close to retail value. So there's two parts to that. It was selling, for around about that kind of 50 to 60 gem range. I managed to pick up one more for 60 gems. My guy, Poor Man Printing, he missed the drop, but he managed to get one for 60 gems on the secondary market. And you guys can see here that there were, some that were listed for quite low. Now, the second part of that story is usually these prices tend to kind of hold, but the community came through and all of these, close to retail value ones just got wiped off the market pretty fast. About 30 minutes in and the floor price was already kind of 90 gems. And I don't know what it is now. I think it's probably around about the 110, 120 gem range, which is like, 100% return. Okay, this, fair enough. The actual value of it, the retail price wasn't too high, 50 gems. A lot of these ultra rares we see drop at 90, 100 gems. So as a percent, it did have more room to grow. But I think the fact that it is one NFT for a set, the IP is impressive and it is, overall a nice model. There are some issues with it, but I will touch on that in a second. But the floor price has increased massively. So, it was around at retail value for a little while, but the community did come through. I would say it wasn't too many hardcore Superman fans that contributed to that. The floor price increasing, it was mostly the same collectors, but just they're buying loads of them. I've seen people buying 20 Supermen today, so it's kind of seen as the new Todd Batman. So I would say there is a lot of speculation behind this Superman's value going up in the future, which is why it's been bought out so rapidly. But at the same time, it is nice to see that there is that potential there for the really, really big IP to appreciate in value very fast and hold that value. So that is pretty cool. Now, on that point, so I did manage to get the Superman as well. So here's just a picture of mine, and yeah, I did make a post about it, when it dropped, barely selling for 10 gems above retail value. And some of people had the same experience, but it did increase quite fast, so that is good to know. Now, in terms of some issues, so if you guys do have a look, one of the legs and arms are kind of disconnected. Very slightly, and if you look at the shadow, you can see more clearly that the shadow is disconnected because it's a shadow from the body. So I believe this is not a feature, this is actually a genuine defect. That should be addressed. So I did drop Trevor a message about this just to see what can be done, but someone did point out that there's supposed to be an S on the back of the cape, so that is missing. I don't know if that specifically is kind of an artist's approach to the model, but it'll be interesting to know if the S was missed out on purpose or not. But the arm and leg definitely do need to be attached. Now, on that point, I did just want to share with you guys the Superman. So I did pick it up, and I noticed that in the picture the skin color was a bit off, the face looked a bit weird, but then in the app it looked like how I thought it would look. It looked so much better, and I'm glad it does, because I was a little bit disappointed by the facial features when I first saw them. I was like, okay, the body looks cool, but something looks off about the face. But after getting the actual version of the app, because David, you did say this, wait for it to be in the app, I'm pretty happy with it, because at the same time, I have said that whatever David Yu says, he's a great guy, really, really cool guy, enthusiastic and everything. But I do take what he says with a pinch of salt. So I wasn't sure if it was actually going to look, better in the app versus the images, but I'm glad it does. So you guys can see my showroom is still messy. I do need to sort this out. But I am looking to just continue growing, get as many sets as possible. I do still want a RIP mode so I can get to 10 complete sets and I can have that complete unicorn set. But, I am pretty happy with where I am right now. And Yeah, I did get a second Superman on the secondary market, so I'm going to be keeping at least one for sure, 100%, never selling it. One more I'll keep to maybe sell, but we'll see. Now, in terms of the Slimer drop, so that is going to be happening today. From now, it'll probably be happening within the next hour or so. So we have the Medium article here. Now, this wasn't reposted or anything. It was just updated. So this is the Medium article from back in January. So we can see that the updated Slimer model is here. And at the same time, we can see that the list price is 30 gems now. It was originally 20 gems, but they've updated that, and the editions, I can't remember if this was different or not, but 5,500 editions in total, and obviously some of them were given away as prizes and some of them are reserved. And if you scroll down, we can see the ultra rare ghost trap, $35, 1,750. This is going to be very hard to get, the ultra rare ghost trap. So I think Slimer will do well just because the retail value of it is so low. $30 is really low. I can see this also increasing by 100%, reselling for around about that 60 gem mark. I see that being very possible. So yeah, that's something to think about as well. Now, in terms of OMI's price, something interesting happened today, and I don't think this has happened for a very long time, not that I can remember, but we had the drop today at 4 p.m. And usually after a drop, we always have a drop in price for OMI, but that didn't happen today. We've been holding relatively flat. And on top of that, it's been a little while now since, we found out that none of the tokens were going to get left behind. I was sure that was going to cause, at least somewhat of a dump. But again, on the hourly chart, we have not actually seen much price movement. So that implies to me that there really isn't that much left to dump. It seems to me that the money in OMI right now is in the hands of people that, David, you would describe as the diamond hand. So I think that is good. We are very close to the absolute bottom floor price, which means where we can go in the future is in an upwards trajectory, slowly over time, compounding, with not very much room for moving to the downside. So I'm pretty happy. I hope this holds for a while just so I can continue to dollar cost average lower. But I am pretty satisfied with where we are now. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. As always, please do like and subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.